Hi, my name is Michael Hughes. I'm current chairperson of Trim Tourism Network. We were delighted to be invited by Momentum Consulting by Laura Magan uh, to answer a few questions with relation to Adventure Tourism Europe on how we set up and how we conduct our business and promote our events here in Trim. To do so, I suppose the easiest way for us to answer it is to put the questions forward and, as I say, give the answers as such. So as such, we have a list of 9 questions with relation to our setup, and I hope it answers any potential questions that people will have. Of course, we can be contacted on stayintrim.ie if you have any further questions. I suppose, how do we set up Trim Tourism Network and what we do? The questions I've pretty much answered here in 2 or 3 questions at a time, but the questions as we laid them out in the beginning were: number 1, how did you set up Trim Tourism Network and the committee? Who did you need and what to make it happen, like health and safety licence, certificates, getting in contact with community, county councils, etc., how we liaise with other bodies. 3, what were the challenges? What changes have you had to make along the way? We're now going into our 4th year in existence, so while it's never always a forward motion, you're always you'll have challenges, that's without doubt. Why do we choose the activities and sections that we did? Why do we pick the events and the different promotional ideas that we had along the way? Why was sustainability and green important to our festival? How does it benefit Trim as a destination? What benefit was it for our town and locality? Why does it last as long as it does? Our festivals it's a 2-day festival now, for instance, one of our Trim Salmon of Knowledge Festival incorporating the Boyne Adventure Race. How do we recruit our team and how do we pick our volunteers? How do we put teams together for certain events? What will we be doing next year? Will it be the same? Are we adding to it or changing or making it better? And why is it good for Trim, and why do we choose the locations that we choose for our various events? So those are the questions as such. I've answered them, and the answers to them are pretty much inclusive in how it's put together. The answers 1, 2 and 3, which were how do we set up and who do we need to work with to make it happen, and what were the challenges? Well, the answers are simple enough. We decided to set up Trim Tourism Network to help accelerate tourism growth in our town and the region, and have an identified real-time interaction with visitors and their experiences whenever they visited Trim. We had the perfect opportunity to do this because myself and Vice Chair David and David Gorey and Tom and Orlan and a lot of the committee are working together in the restaurant business, and we're meeting these customers on a day-to-day basis, and we're able to actually ask them, why are they here? What do they like about the place? So we're getting our answers in real time, and why they came this year, and why they came last year, and why they came the year before. So we're actually getting to see not alone why they're here, how long they're staying here, but are we getting more people as a result of our actions since we started with the network, and we're very delighted to announce that we definitely are. We started with just ourselves, which was a restaurant we have in the town here called Stockhouse, the management. Some of the accommodation providers that we work closely with: Highfield House, Trimcastle Hotel, the Castle Arts Hotel, Knightsbrook, T. Cohan and Cronmore, and a lot of the accommodation providers around the town, Boyneview. We shared, we worked together with a couple of local councillors as well, because we needed to know the mechanics of how it works with liaison with public, with local authorities and so on and so forth. So we had a couple of councillors came on board. We sought out and identified with local authority groups that were there to promote tourism. This was challenging, as we were new kids on the block, and we had to establish ourselves, and people needed to know that we were bona fide in our intentions. So it takes time to build up those relationships, but we had to work very hard at it. For the same token, we were disappointed, for want of a better word, in how slow growth was being promoted as it was in the area, and we are not inhibited by a 9-to-5 mentality in Trim Tourism Network, because we're made up of businesses, people representing businesses. So it was pretty much an all duck or no dinner approach. We decided to go at it hammer and tongue. Tourists visiting our area are not here in a 9 to 5 with a 9 to 5 mentality. They're here to be entertained 24 hours a day, every day. So we have to be able to facilitate that and make plans and help people to make it attractive for them to be here or anywhere else in Ireland on a 24-hour day basis. So we have to balance working closely with established groups and bodies with at the same time calling them up and trying to change things that we knew or could see weren't working, and at the same time being respectful of their efforts for whatever reasons they might be as well. So we still needed to work together for us to obtain permissions to use, for instance with Meath County Council, to use council lands and buildings, and to qualify for grants that were being made available. All of these things are still very important, and it is also very important that we're all singing off the one hymn sheet and not contradicting each other's efforts. As we grew and were successful with our events, we commanded more respect, and obtaining support became a lot easier. Having sought advice from other successful tourist operations around the country, we were delighted to receive endorsement of our unofficial mantra of just going ahead and doing things, and if necessary asking for forgiveness rather than permission. Just get the job done, because there's always going to be people who will give you reasons for not doing it, but if they're not doing something alternative to it, then nothing gets done. So you just get on and get things done. A positive, it's like making a decision. You can always make another decision to nullify the first decision, but if you don't make a decision in the first place, you're going nowhere. So we did. Unforeseen challenges was the success brought out at times an unattractive underbelly. If someone seen something we were doing as successful, sometimes they wanted to try and take it and run with it themselves. And we were very mindful of anything that's been done on a volunteer basis by a community group for the community remains in the community, and we're very guarded in that. We have to look after something that we invest our time off our own back to promote up to a certain level. We're not going to sell it cheap and let it go, or let somebody else run with it and take something that's been set up as a brand. So we've been very strong on that. We chose most of our events and activities because we decided to have fun with this whole project. We enjoy actually doing what we're doing. We enjoy, but we also know when we take on something, and there's more and more projects coming at us all the time, that we're not going to take it on unless we're prepared to give it 100%. And that's what we've been doing. And as a result of that, we have we've gained a lot of knowledge in fields. We're not experts in a lot of the fields we took on, but we gained that experience on the go. But we weren't afraid to give it a go and have fun doing so, and that was a big thing for us. For example, we had limited experience of running adventure races, or indeed Christmas classical evenings, but we learned on the job. We improved very fast and then put our own individual touches on it. Our Boyne Adventure Race, BAR, is now only getting into the interesting phase where we know what others are doing. We know what other adventure races are doing around the country, and now we know how to do it, and now we know how to do it as well. But now we're going to break away from that and make ours even more interesting. We want to be able to introduce things that we're not been saying, okay, it's another one of these list of events around the country. This one's going to have its own particular, we're going to develop its own thing. We know where the norm is, and now we're going to exceed the norm. But it took us 3 years to get up to where we are in a position to do so with that particular event. Our Christmas Classical Evening as well has gained serious ground. That it's an event now where any serious classical musicians or singers really want to be in on that act and are vying for a place in it, whereas in the beginning we had to go trawling for people to come to it, because it is definitely a big success. So we want to do with our Boyne Adventure Race, with our festivals, with our classical events, with our events, what most people wouldn't dare to do. Much in the same way as our inspiration would be Michael Flatley. Irish dancing, he made Irish dancing sexy. And that's what it did. It really did. It brought it to the masses. Even people who weren't into Irish dance were all of a sudden mad into Irish dance. Riverdance started out, Lord of the Dance thereafter, and it really gave it a life of its own. Andrew Rio is actually doing the exact same thing with classical concerts. He's bringing classical music to the masses. He's Maastrichting concerts and all throughout the world, and people who were never interested in classical music are going to it. Well, we're doing pretty much the same thing on a much smaller scale, but that would be the template, and that would be the type of mindset that we'd have when we're going about setting up our thing. We're not going to be the same. We're going to be a little bit different. We're going to make it more accessible to other people in a way that is packaged, that there's something there for everybody. If we can inspire folk by our actions to do things they normally wouldn't chance doing, then we've achieved something. even if we never get to know that we've inspired somebody. This is the most genuine act of giving, when you expect absolutely nothing in return. So I believe we've already done this many, many times over. We've done it through our Salmon and Knowledge Festival, through our Christmas Classical Evening. We've used them as platforms to give up and coming people, and we've seen the results of that already in a big way, a platform to showcase their talents alongside very established, accomplished musicians or acts or drama societies or whatever that are there. So this is giving everybody a chance. It's born out of the attitude that you only live once for a limited amount of time, so you might as well just do it anyway. We choose to do Salmon and Knowledge Festival, which is a free family fun day, one of the few free family fun days left in the country, and it coincides normally with the week when kids are going back to school, where people's budgets, families' budgets are at an all-time low throughout the year, or at that time of the year, so it really works. The name Salmon and Knowledge Festival was to take own this story, complementing Fáilte Ireland's promotion of myths and stories, which was big at the time that we started Salmon and Knowledge Festival as our first festival 3 years ago. It's to promote arts and crafts and storytelling and music and all of the things synonymous, and sport with Ireland, but and in particular the emphasis on the Boyne Valley with our foods, everything to do with our Irish traditional values are on display at the Salmon and Knowledge Festival. There's quite a bit of very diverse entertainment, but the beauty of it is it's all free. This year we made it into a 2-day event. I'll give you a bit of advice or a bit of a breakdown on that in a moment. But the festival was to showcase all sections, music of all genres, arts, crafts, sports, Irish language, traditional Irish fairground attractions like puppet shows, Boyne baby competitions, Boyne goddess competition. We formed the Boyne Adventure Race to appeal to the sports and fitness enthusiasts, and also as a fundraiser for the Salmon and Knowledge. Our other festivals, like I say, in year 1 and 2 were the Trim Trad Fest, which is now going into its second year, and that's really exciting because this year we're going to be liaising with a large festival that's starting in Trim called the Puka Festival as well, which is promoting Trim and Boy and Drogheda in the story of the Halloween story, which originates only 6 miles away from here on the Hill of Ward. But we also did a lot of interspersed between a lot of our concerts during the year. We'd have fundraiser concerts like ABBA and Queen nights, which we very successfully sold out for 600 people on occasions to raise money for some of our events. This year, due to the success, we attracted one of our board members had material that was significant in value, leading to us putting together a Dear Dot exhibition, which was the story of a lady with a local connection here and her contribution to John F. Kennedy getting elected in America. This was a massive, massive success, and it's actually still going. It's been extended. It's been here all summer. We flew in 2 of the Kennedy family to open the exhibition earlier on in May, and this has been extended now, and it's a free exhibition on show at Trim Visitor Centre until the end of September. This year we also started our twinning of the Boyne Valley. A man from Boyne Valley originally left here in the 1850s and set up Boyne City, Michigan, and renamed the River Boyne over there. So we went over there and liaised with the Irish diaspora there, brought over Gluish, a local trad secondary school trad music group. So 49 of us went over there, and we got this twinning thing going between the 2 Boyne Valleys. And we've already seen the result of that, with people coming from Boyne City to visit this Trim, and our people going over there as well. So there is a big return on this, and that's going to develop over the next couple of years. Our festivals have attracted increased visitor numbers to Trim and the region, and this has been really evident last weekend, with many of the town's businesses reporting record levels of increased footfall and shopping, staying, dining around the town, in conjunction with our Salmon and Knowledge Festival, which we do in partnership with the Ultra Challenge Race Around Ireland, which is brilliant. So the footfall, the excitement around the town here for a complete weekend was, any visitors here got a shock last weekend, and it was all free. This is really important, as these same businesses that are the lifeblood of our events, the sponsorship we get to make our free family fun days are from local businesses advertising and supporting this festival. So we ask people in turn to support local and go back in and give something back to the businesses that very generously supported us. It was we decided last year to introduce a theme to our Salmon and Knowledge Festival. It was anti-bullying last year, which we felt needed to be highlighted, so that it's made not cool. This year we chose sustainability, biodiversity, green culture, mindfulness, health and wellness as their very current problems, and they need everybody on board to highlight and change to really help to save our planet for ourselves, from ourselves. Things are going downhill fairly fast, and unless we do something about it, it's even current there today. Half the Amazon's on fire and all across Africa, and people are not doing enough. And all it takes, as I say, for evil to succeed is for good people to do nothing. So we really need to all jump on board with that one. In Stockhouse itself, in our restaurant business, we work tirelessly to help in this regard. We raise funds. Tom, one of our board members, Tom, raised 45k this year for Pieta House Barristown, Make It Wish, while Orla and myself continue to raise funds and travel to Haiti to help others. David and Carmen help massively supporting all of these efforts. I mention them because it's important for everyone to understand that small individual efforts can be the catalyst and inspiration for bigger things to happen, and that's the mantra that we bring into Trim Tourism Network. We do small things, and it's the inspiration for other people to carry on and do forward and bring it. We've even set up now at the moment this year, we set up a young TTN, so there's a young committee coming along for people that will take the mantra and carry the energy forward that we've set up, so that when it comes time for us to step aside or that as I say, a replacement's coming through in the herd, for want of a better word. Our volunteers from Acorns Grow Oak Trees, so I mean it's a big thing for us that we can get more and more people coming to Ireland and coming to Trim and visiting as a result of our efforts. Our volunteers are selected under familiarity and experience in given roles in organising and delivering our events. Just like Special Forces, our selection, we discovered that a person passionate about a particular job but with limited experience will perform brilliantly when given a role working alongside other more experienced team members. Perhaps people just, life got in the way and they never got to exercise their passion. We were giving them people a chance to do so through working on our various events throughout Trim Tourism Network. Along with that, in reality, we just have to roll the dice with whoever's available at certain times and make the glove fit the hand. TTN has maintained a strong core membership group, but also has a revolving door through which some leave and others arrive, and some people come and go. Our aim with all our events and activities is to simply have Trim mentioned in the same sentences as Kilkenny, Killarney, Westport, and Laura McGinn won't forgive me if I don't say Carrick-on-Shannon. So we're developing brand Trim. Just a word on our Salmon and Knowledge Festival. It's a family festival, and that has more impact and gets folks from infant to it's a festival that gets from infant to pensioners out and about. We showed a movie on our big screen this year. 800 or 900 people came out on it. We don't have a way to tell you a definitive figure because it's a free festival, so it's come and go as you please. So we don't actually measure, but we can tell from just a glance that there's definitely 800 or 900 people out for the movie. Thousands of people coming in transient through the 2 days of our festival, probably up to 10,000 at least. We showed a movie on our big screen on the Saturday night to create an event where kids drag their mammies and daddies kicking and screaming down to the castle and bond with each other, creating memories. That's what that's about. And doing so against a beautiful backdrop of Trim Castle. We have beautiful, natural, historical buildings throughout Trim, the castle being obviously the most prominent one, but many more along with it. And it's just to promote those and show them up for what they are. So we use a lot of our events are down in front of the castle to showcase what we really have to an international audience, and national for that matter. We decided to do it over the entire weekend as we have an infrastructure in place anyway. It makes sense to run events if you have stages in place and marquees in place and everything in place. It's just as easy to run it over 2 days as it is over one, because your core costs are the same for 2 days as they are for one over weekend. So you might as well just put extra acts in them stages and into those marquees and have different activities happening. So that was really the reason for that. Also, we've now just too many performers for just 1 day, so we had to put it over 2 days as well. We brought our bar race, our Boyne Adventure race, into the Saturday morning to give it more room and more time to develop in its own right. That was a massive success this year. It was good in the first year, better in the second year, and much better this year when we had the accumulated knowledge of the first 2 years to enhance safety features, make it a better race, and address any problems that we came up with. And we still see room for improvement. We know that the 2020 bar is going to be an exceptional event, big time. The feedback from folks, both visitors and locals, is massively positive. For a free end of summer festival to happen the same week as parents are crucified with back to school costs is a very big relief to many. Despite all our efforts, and this particular festival is very much weather dependent for it to be a big success. So far we've had 2 out of 3, we'll take that, 2 out of 3 ain't bad. It's sunshine. Brand Trim is getting out there, and Brand TTN are the driving force behind it, Trim Tourism Network. As I say, we've just started a youth TTN, which is a great thing for kids to be coming on board as volunteers, because it'll help build their curriculum vitae for going forward. So it's onwards and upwards for us. I hope I've answered most people's questions. Like I say, we can be contacted at stayintrim.ie for any further questions, and I'm sure Laura McGann will be back with a few questions as well. But she's been a fantastic support, as is Momentum Consultant of our efforts down here, and we're delighted to work together closely with Momentum Consultant and this and Adventure Tourism Europe. We believe we're making a difference down here in our neck of the woods. If that's an inspiration for other people, or it's a help in any way, all the better, because at the end of the day, Trim is one small town in Ireland. Most of our visitors coming here are coming from even the likes of the United States. We're jumping in a car and driving 300 miles to see something is absolutely nothing to them. You jump in a car in Trim and drive 300 miles, you're going to get your feet wet. You're going to run out of Ireland. So what we're doing here in Trim is for all of Ireland, and we hope that if that's reciprocated around other parts of the country, that'll be a plus for us as well. So with that, I'll sign off, and thank you very much for enduring my long-winded explanation for what we do.